What if I told you that Western civilization as we know it, democracy, philosophy, even the Olympics, might not exist if a small group of farmers, fishermen and potters hadn't stood their ground 2,500 years ago? This is the story of how an underdog army, outnumbered at least 2-1, defeated the most powerful empire in the world. The Battle of Marathon wasn't just a military victory, it was a defiant stand for freedom. And it changed history. In 490 BC, the Persian Empire stretched from modern-day Iran all the way to parts of India, North Africa, and Asia Minor. Ruled by Darius the Great, it was a colossus, rich, organized, and relentlessly successful empire. But in the West, a small cluster of fiercely independent city-states refused to bow. Athens was one such city. Though young as a democracy, it had already begun shaping ideas that would echo through time. But Athens had done the unthinkable. It had supported a revolt against Persia in Ionia. Darius hadn't forgotten. Now he wanted revenge, and a lesson taught. In late summer, 490 BC, a fleet of 600 Persian ships crossed the Aegean Sea. On board were perhaps 25,000 troops plus cavalry, their goal, to burn Athens to the ground. When news of the Persian landing reached Athens, panic set in. They needed allies, fast. They sent runners to Sparta and other Greek cities begging for help. Enter the legendary runner, Phidippides. He sprinted 150 miles to Sparta in just 2 days to request aid. The Spartans agreed to help, but said they couldn't march until after a religious festival. Athens would have to stand alone. Except they weren't entirely alone. One small ally, the city of Plataea, answered Athens' call. They sent 1,000 troops. It wasn't much, but it was a symbol. Greece would resist together or not at all. The Persian force landed safely at Marathon, 26 miles from Athens. They chose the spot carefully, flat and ideal for cavalry. But they hadn't expected a Greek army to march out and meet them. Leading the Athenians was Miltiades, a man who had once lived under Persian rule. He knew their strengths and their weaknesses. He proposed something radical: attack first. The Athenians had around 10,000 hoplites, armored infantry trained to fight as a unit. Against them, Persian infantry, lightly armed, unarmored, but far more numerous. Logic said the Greeks would lose. But on the morning of the battle, Miltiades gave the order. The Athenians charged over a mile across the plain, straight into the Persian center. The Persians were stunned. The Greek center gave ground, but it was a trap. The wings of the Athenian army curled inward, surrounding the Persians on 3 sides. Discipline, armor, and courage won the day. The Persians broke. Some fled to the ships, others drowned in the marshes. The Greeks had lost just 192 men. The Persians, over 6,000. It was one of the most astonishing victories in military history, but it wasn't over yet. The Persians managed to successfully retreat to their fleet and escape more heavy losses. In that moment, they decide to sail south, with the hopes of reaching an undefended Athens for the taking. However, the Greeks knew better than to leave their city undefended. Exhausted but unyielding, the Athenian army marched over 26 miles through dust and heat, arriving at the city just as the Persian fleet darkened the horizon. But when the invaders saw a wall of hoplites standing defiant, they withdrew from the Greek shores without setting foot. Athens was saved, not by gods or fate, but by courage, unity, and speed. The Battle of Marathon wasn't just a military triumph. It was a declaration that free men could stand against tyranny, that numbers alone didn't determine destiny. The victory gave Athens the confidence to grow into a center of art, philosophy, and politics. The ripple effect would shape the Roman world, the Renaissance, and beyond. Today, when we speak of democracy, of liberty, of the will of the people. We echo the voices of those who stood at Marathon. And perhaps that's why, centuries later, a long-distance race would be named in their honor. Because the real endurance, the real marathon, was their stand against the impossible. If you enjoyed this journey into the past and want more deep dives into the battles, legends, and turning points that shaped the world, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.